around in my home city of Gloucester doing bus fitting. So with that said, let's get on with the video, shall we? Of course, over here, of course, we got Alexander Escobar 400 mm 1053 leaving. But what bus is, I must say, what bus I transport have on this fine afternoon now is, of course, cloudy but still very nice of late. Let's go have a look. So, of course, we have 1053 leaving. We got Alexander's for 400 MCT 758. Next, Alexander's for 200 37238. Alexander's for from Boy scanning into 30 number 15 966, and Alexander's for 203 7324. And finally, Alexander Escobar from Boy Scania 15880 as well. So, those are the buses to report there. So with all the buses accounted for at this location, at the transport hub, let's head on to the railway station. So, we're now heading off towards the railway station. Hot on my legs. So there we go. Go through here. We've got our first green light, so just about. So just go across here as far as we can. And that one's still on a red light, so this is where we have to wait. Also got Alexander Escobar 300 by 9, 2.24, 22, 752. Oh. This is where we're stuck right in the centre. So when it says red light, we stop. And when they say green light, we go. Red light! Green light! And that guy has just went over the line, which means that he's going to get a fine on his for running red light. So there's now Alexander Escobar 2037324 about to leave. So we are now heading up the street towards the railway station. So we've got this moment we don't have a train yet in the transport hub. In a train in the Gloucester railway station. Now, two places I need to interact with. Of course, now Alexander Escobar from Boy scanning to 30Ds leaving on the Route 98 to Cheltenham. Okay, let's have a look. Well, it doesn't say anything about Route 2 or 2A diversion as such. There's Cirrus 13 diversion. I don't know if this is now like I don't know what it is. I think it's supposed to be a template or basically a trial, maybe, just like they did with number 8s. So our screen display says the 1209 to Bristol was cancelled. The next one is the transport for Wales to Cheltenham Spa. The service to London Paddington's got cancelled. I mean, the next one will be the 1222 to Cheltenham Spa to London Paddington. 1227's cancelled. And the service to Worcester Foregate Street is heavily delayed. So there's not going to be much trains So that means that there's not going to be much trains this time round, because there's cancellations and heavy delays. it does give you a question of who the hell and what the hell is happening here with all these services. So we need to go over here, of course. There's 27,702 Alexander bar 300 heading through with the 2A. So we need to keep an eye out that way because the service to Cheltenham Spa would be arriving, which I believe would be 150, 282 again. If you want to see 150, 282 on the last one, which happened to be a very chaotic and very interesting train spotting session, just to look it up later when the video actually is uploaded and dropped. So yeah, no trains just yet. So go on Alexander, it's about 300 by man, 18.240 leaving. So yeah, it's gonna be yeah, 14 minutes past and the train hasn't arrived. This next one. Starting to call the Cheltenham Spa train out. That's me. So over there is, of course, more Alexander Bar 400s leaving, which will all be heading off towards, one's heading off towards Cheltenham, the other one towards Stroud. They're more or less side by side over there. Oh dear. Cross-country driver shortages are rising up. Well, the viruses are all going round, that's all I can say. Because I don't think there's been any strikes or anything, so here comes the Transport for Wales class 150 on the Cardiff Central to Cheltenham Spa. But just to say that I was here just yesterday out of coincidence because I was having a walk with a family member and I came down to the train station and of course got a class 150, but I also got something very rare that you don't see on my X-Files at all. and that of course is freight trains. But this freight train that I'm talking about is a Tesco container train, and it was run by Direct Rail Services low emission variant locomotive number 66424. So here we are, more or less where we're going to be seeing 152.82 depart for the service to Cheltenham Spa from Cardiff Central. I don't see it in the picture, but it's got a green light already. There it goes. So yeah, the 12:27 to Cardiff Central cancelled, and the service to Worcester Foregate Street heavily delayed, so it won't be seen on this. And of course, next one will be the service to Cheltenham Spa on platform 1. Oh, there's a correction. The 12:19 to London Paddington has been cancelled. Again, I would believe that could be also a driver shortage on that too. So unfortunately, trains are just being cancelled left, right, hand, centre. Goes to show why a lot of places need more drivers to cover illnesses. But yeah, I don't think there'll be any freight trains coming in or out. We'll see if we can be able to see the Great Western Railway service Cheltenham Spa from here, but truth is, after this, no more trains. So I strongly advise everybody who's watching, if they haven't watched the morning session, to actually see the the morning stuff. So yeah, I know there's many people, but the thing is, I can still see the train arriving into platform 1 for the service Cheltenham Spa from London Paddington. There you go, you can see a little bit more in a better, way more better than you did. Of course, the Class 800 had it, or 802 has its coupling hook thing open. And across from here you can see it, Alexander Spa 300. There's some kind of failure that's caused the 25-minute delay to the Great Western Railway service to Worcester Foregate Street. So yeah, on that terrible disappointment, we will now go back towards the front. Terrible disappointment for the train network, I must say. So terrible disappointment. So yeah, that means that people have to get on the cross-country service to Nottingham from at 12:45. Handbag. And I'll just stick around because you never know if there could be a freight train passing by. Would have been good that if there was a train that was cancelled, that should have actually paved way for more freight work. What the hell? Okay, so this is going to be really funny, but the cross-country class 170 has just come to a stop at platform 4. That's 176:37. So I wonder if they've did find a driver to actually do the service, and now it's actually delayed by approximately 1 or 2 minutes. So just to know, the board has shown some misinformation, and it should be noted in this X-Files blog that you do not take these things for granted, including that I had such experience several years ago at Cardiff Central Station, where a train cross-country service was cancelled, and the worrying thing was, of course, being stranded in Cardiff for the night, and that was when I was a lot younger. But in the end, the train came, and the train had not been cancelled. So a lesson learned that there is a lot of things that can spread misinformation, including boards, social media, and of course information boards. Because when the train said it was cancelled, here it is standing in platform 4. So right down there are a couple more buses arriving. So there's gorgeous red lights. Another thing is if it's being that the train may just be cancelled at Gloucester, and that the cross-country driver just gone out of the cab and just we got Alexander Savard 300, number 10903, and Alexander Savard from by Scania M230D. There goes 10904, and that's behind 15970. But sadly, there has not been a sign of an electric bus this week, unfortunately. So I'm getting the feeling that they're being used for driver training purposes still. And that's only just the odd 1 or 2 is coming out into use. But yeah, nothing coming from train area. But it has only 3 more minutes, so if it doesn't depart by then, I'll be moving on. Alexander S500 Trident coming in from Stroud. Alexander S500 by Scanian 250D arriving. It's that because of the traffic coming in from the other direction. Train's still at the stations and the signals are still red, so you can definitely tell that train's heavily delayed, whether it's stopped at Gloucester or continuing on somehow. Suddenly let's continue. Just got to go ahead, put them 371. Actually, I think we're gonna need to have to go to the left, around the left hand side, because things are just being too slow from the. They're just being too slow from the right. Okay, here we go. Alright, here we go. Up, over and over. There's 371 leaving. But we also have some Alexander Dennis buses. So yeah, we've got the Alexander S500 Trident and of course the Alexander S500 MMC's 10749 Mark Millard and 10903. Which are all waiting to depart on their Cheltenham and Stroud services. So we will now make our move. And of course we will make our way up Clarence Street and end the session there. That is just so annoying about trains, just to go show that trains are very unpredictable, totally unpredictable. But of course we have Alexander survived by Scania N230D 5979 in the Stagecoach's corporate livery. Just arrived from the right. I think it just went on the street and then just went round. So we will now head down this straight across Clarence Street, 15355 Hamish McNair, Templeton. These are of course all on the other side of the road. We also got Alexander from by Scania to 30UD as well. So there's Hamish McNair, Templeton, and we've got a few buses going out. So we have 15875, and of course Alexander Svar 300 by Man 18.2 42 Central 44. Here we go. It means that one is falling. Goes to show that 12-metre buses can still more or less fit that corner bit. So now we need to get across this road, say this split road. But saying that, with all this right here, I still think it makes it a lot easier for people to cross, but there is just still a lot of trouble there. So we got Alexander Svar 300 by Man 22 Central 49. It's now leaving, and 27 Central for Alexander Svar 300 is of course starting to take on more passengers to continue on to Brockworth. And then of course we got Alexander Svar 236388 leaving with the 28 up to St Leonard's. Finally we got cover for an unavailable Alexander Svar 400 Scania N250UDs, which is Alexander Svar by Scania N230UD 15872, which of course has, many of them are starting to appear with poppies for the Remembrance Sunday. That's coming up on the 9th of November 2025. So yeah. So yeah. That's the only buses there, so just get to the street and no buses there. We're in the session. Don't see any buses. No buses. So that about wraps it up for the afternoon session. I do apologise with the train stuff, but trains are very unpredictable. I just go by, of course, all the signs that are printed around the railway station. So with that, if you like this video, remember to like, subscribe and to hit the notifications bell. But I really recommend the morning session over the afternoon session. So, and also don't forget to of course look at the extra bits that probably actually helps, which is the yesterday's train spotting session that just came out of the blue because I was out with a family member. So with that said, trust me, you haven't seen a video like those. So with that said, Thank you for watching my X-Files, and I'll see you again next time. Sluggards!